Today I'm painting a landscape of the Willamette River using poster paints. My name's Austin Coates, and welcome to my art studio. Getting started, I'm picking out my colors. Poster paints are often used in painting the backgrounds to a lot of popular anime series. I'm trying it here for the first time, but we're going to use them to capture something of a visual dream I've been having. Oregon's Willamette River during golden hour with vineyard patched hills in the background. Before I even started this painting, I already did several small watercolor studies to get the mood and color just right. If you want to see those, go check out my Instagram page at aacoates.art. Because of all that pre-visualization I did, I'm actually approaching this painting a little more piecemeal than I usually do. I typically start out with all the big shapes and gradually move smaller and smaller and try to balance the whole image as I move forward. But because I have such a good idea of where I want to go, I am more easily drawn into some of the smaller elements that I'm curious about. A lot of these bigger early shapes, I'm trying to paint wet in wet, both to let the paint have some natural flow and to keep all my edges soft right now. Later, I'll come back in with wet on dry and get some sharp edges that make it pop. Lately, this scene has been coming up again and again in my memory and stands as sort of a visual poem. It's got some sort of deeper meaning that I keep trying to spot and understand. It's just about time for me to end the day's painting session. I like to stand up to see the whole painting a little bit clearer and add a few touches here and there, and then I'm headed home to my wife and daughter, and I'll come back tomorrow to finish it off. All right, so I'm actually taking a look at this painting again for a second time. It's the next day since I started the painting, and I'm hoping to finish it today. So I probably have about an hour and a half. I'll have to work pretty quick to get all the stuff done that I would like to. Last night, probably while I was in the bathroom or something, I was taking a look at it and I annotated it. I thought of a couple changes that I would want to make in addition to some of the more usual progression. One thing that I thought was I'd like this to have some opaque highlights here. I'd like for these yellows, I don't think they're working quite as well as I hoped. And so I think I'm going to knock them back to more kind of like an olive green. I'd like to add some depth. That was all part of the plan, but right now this area doesn't feel like it's quite working with this quite as well. And then I actually want to change up how even these are all spaced out and cut the trees in a little bit more and then cut the shadows out. I'm also not quite liking this texture. It doesn't quite feel like it shows up anywhere else. And so I'm thinking about knocking that back too. And then just generally adding more green to this too. The reflections not quite reading how I want it to. I might deepen the blues or some things like that, but that's my plan. We'll see how it goes. There are parts of it I like and there are parts I don't like. But that's how it usually is. I'm starting my second campaign with what I think is missing the most, and that's some interest on the distant hills. I really want to pull the viewer's attention all the way back to have them ask, what's that back there? The warm light from the low sun cast on those rolling hills is stunning. 200 years ago, settlers on the Oregon Trail called this river valley the New Eden, and I can see why. But its beauty is not just by chance. The Tualatin Kalapuya people, the Atfalati, stewarded this land for millennia, quite literally 10,000 years or more before American settlers ever got here. They took care of the land, they practiced controlled burns and managed the wildlife and horticulture and made Newburgh rich with edible plants and game. The Kalapuya people were forcibly removed from their land by the U.S. government in 1856 and moved with more than 20 other groups to the Grand Ronde Reservation. We live and work on these traditional homelands of the Atfalati Kalapuya people, and I want to honor them and their descendants with sorrowful gratitude. I am grateful for them. The reflections on the water were another of the big changes I hope to make. With opaque paint, I'm adjusting the shapes and changing the color of the water to add depth. In certain areas of the river, the water is disturbed by the wind or some other factors that change the angle of the reflection, and that breaks up that perfect mirror and cuts in with a view of the higher sky. Before I had too much of those spots, it felt like it lost clarity, and I think just one will be enough to add realism and contrast and movement. Many of my final marks are trying to add more contrast, deeper hues and deeper values to add a little punch. I sign the painting and add a few last touches, and there we are, the final image. Let me know what you think in the comments. Leave a like if you enjoyed this. Subscribe if you want more. And of course, thanks for watching.